there's something very unique about here that drives up the cost. It may not be living, but definitely the cost of trying to attract somebody to commute back and forth by ferry, et cetera, et cetera. I would challenge, or I would wonder if it's possible to challenge that 12% designation. I mean, for the $500,000 or $600,000, that might be I would think worth looking at. And I'm not saying please don't do that, but I'm throwing that as an idea on the table.
What I don't know, and maybe Katie knows if you can, is what did you call and what was their regionalization and what was theirs was 12 also in Southport?
18.
They got 18?
Yep. So that's a fascinating question. So here on Vashon, I keep wondering, how can we have the quality of life that says teachers that teach our kids live on the island? What a concept, right? But there's, why would Southworth get 18 and Vashon would get 12? Does anybody know? Katie?
It's all based on the cost of housing in the district and also in all of the adjoining districts. So it does seem to me like South Kitsap has cheaper cost of housing than Vashon, but the number that the regionalization factor is based off of is what is the average cost? Am I right about that?
Yeah, and some of the initial regulation was also based on what educator staff salaries were for the 16-17 school year when we were looking at this. So it was based on partly on salary data, what folks in those districts were being paid, with the goal of when we do this legislation, we don't want anyone in any district to use. And some of those districts where maybe the housing values are lower, but salaries were higher, those are on a step down over the next several years, where there's a few that are getting 24, where theirs will go down by 50.
But South Kitsap's not one of those districts. It's only I want to say San Juan Island is one. There's a couple other 24s, but the 24s go to 18s, but once you're at an 18, you're not going to go down to a 12. So for the example of and it's not just South Kitsap, it's Central Kitsap, it's all the Kitsaps over
Everybody
there.
around us except for Tacoma.
Right.
Federal.
So, I mean, that's not, I mean, so they're not a 24 going to an 18, they're an 18 and they're going to be an 18.
Until we base.
But even at the rebase in 4 years, are you going to tell them that they're now at 12? That's a tough one. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, they're an 18. The metrics is a great question. No one understands the metrics. I've tried to figure it out. I looked at the law that was, when it was passed on June 30th, I was on the computer July 1st, 2017, reading through this, and I'm like, okay, well, first of all, what's our regionalization? Because that's the #1 factor for me as a teacher. Second of all, why are we not 18 and everybody else is? Couldn't find the metric. So again, like, I understand the step down from 24s, but that doesn't apply to them, and that doesn't. It's not like there's going to be a step up in 4 years. Is it an up? I mean, I don't know.
So Eileen and Joe, let's make sure that you have some time to help us out here in this workshop environment.
Yeah.
I know that you have the solution.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, what I would say first is on the fatigue question, education's always a priority. So I would say there's a fatigue about talking about McCleary and using the words McCleary. So maybe the first thing I'd say is don't say McCleary anymore. But just, talking about education and and funding is always a topic. So, I've been in there 24 years and we've talked about it and argued about it every year. So it's not like there's total fatigue, and it's it's one of the biggest areas of the budget. It's actually the biggest area. It's more than half now. So just K-12 is more than half. And then you have higher ed, it's like 60% of the budget. So we definitely always have a large discussion about it, put it that way. But I want to go on to prototypical schools, because Well, I saw that as progress because of how many, half a psychologist or what, there's a lot of schools that don't have any psychologists and don't have any RN. I don't know whether you guys, do you have nurses? You have a nurse, you do. That, because I had tried to get money in the budget, I don't know how many years ago, for, to increase the number of nurses, because we're one of the worst states in the country for how many nurses per child in the schools, and, you know, with all of, you know, like, I don't have to tell you what all the problems are. Anyhow, that, I worked on that, and that's when we funded the ESD, putting nurses in the ESD to have them to be able to cover some of the schools that didn't have nurses. And instead of that working, school districts cut their nurses and depended on the ESDs. So that's some of the, you know, it's like quite a frustration when you work to try and get some, to fix a problem and then they go around you. And that's, I think, some of the frustrations, not just, you know, I'm just telling you my personal experience on that, because I don't do that much education stuff. I'm working on the health aspects of it. And so that, I would say, we're going to be working on the funding mechanisms, because, you know, every time you do something major, which this is a big deal, you got to make changes afterwards, because things that you didn't foresee happen. But that being said, I will also say that we have a funding problem. Capital gains, I mean, I think there's, the two of us haven't had time to pass capital gains yet. But it's not, whether all of that would go to education, and to do the, I mean, we would like to do some property tax relief, because it's hard as, you know, Seattle, you probably didn't see a big increase, right? There was pretty much a lot, there was.
No.
Okay.
It's 20%.
26%.
Yeah, well, so that's, I mean, I know the district said that that's a big problem. That's why we didn't like the using the property tax law as the way to fund clearing, saying the word. But that being said, now we're trying to figure out how we can backfill some of that without, and yet you're telling us that we don't have to spend enough on education, so that's up to start putting out. And I'll just tell you about this mental health problem we have in the state. Do you think they've ever heard of that? It's going to cost us $150 million just to keep us at status quo because of Western State being decertified from the feds, because we're not getting money from the feds now. And that's just status quo, and I don't think anybody thinks that status quo is where we should stay on mental health. So we've got a huge investment coming to try and bring, because as we've been working on education, we've let something, you know, mental health slide. So that's the difficulty we face all the time. And it's a revenue problem that we really have in the state without, you know, but we're not going to see it in the tax in the state anytime soon. So it's the things we have to work on.
So I'm hearing, I love the idea that we don't talk about clarity anymore, even though we need to fix it. Joe, what's the chance anytime soon that both sides of the aisle will get together and sing Kumbaya and come up with a solution?
Low. That's low. You know, in all likelihood, if we're talking about new revenue for anything, that's going to be a Democrat-led solution. So capital gains is something that we've talked about for years as wanting support. You know, when Chris Raydahl was in the legislature, that was something we talked about a lot. And of course, if he was still in the legislature, he would be talking about capital gains to solve a whole bunch of problems. And since he's the superintendent of public instruction, he's talking about it just in education.
Right.
You know, what we've had for the last, I've been in office for 8 years, and that's basically all been McCleary time. McCleary came down from being high superior court before I was elected, and then came down to the Supreme Court in 2012. Every spare penny of revenue that we've gotten, whether it was from closing tax loopholes, which we've done a number of, whether it was from revenue growth as the economy recovered, every spare penny we've had has gone into K-12 education.